The grand mansion rose at the edge of the city, standing as a quiet symbol of success and power. Behind its tall iron gates lived a man whose influence touched nearly every skyscraper in town. With a single signature, he could decide the future of companies in an instant. Yet for all his wealth, for all the marble floors and sparkling chandeliers that surrounded him, he carried a pain no money could fix. His only daughter, Lily, was believed to be blind. From the time she was just a toddler, doctors confirmed it. She never followed a beam of light with her eyes, never reached out for colors, and never returned her father's gaze when he tried to make her smile. The millionaire, Mr. Alden, built his entire life around this heartbreaking truth. He bought her the best Braille books, hired skilled caregivers, and quietly lived with the guilt that consumed him. He blamed himself for not being there when Lily was born, leaving her mother to face those fragile first months alone. By the time he tried to make up for it, he thought it was too late. His only child, his greatest hope, would never see his face. The mansion grew cold. Servants moved quietly through its halls while Mr. Alden buried his feelings in endless board meetings and business calls. Dressed in fine gowns, Lily would clutch her toys and walk through the corridors in silence. Everyone accepted the doctor's words. Everyone believed the story. Everyone, except one person, the maid. Before I take you further into this story of sorrow, discovery, and redemption, I have a small request. If you believe in kindness, in miracles, and in second chances, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to our channel, Tale Truss. Your support helps us spread more stories that remind the world about compassion and love. The maid's name was Clara. She was a young woman in her 20s who had grown up with little more than determination to keep her going. She spent long hours scrubbing marble floors that reflected her weary face and polishing furniture she could never dream of owning. But inside, Clara carried a warmth that poverty could not put out. She treated Lily not as someone to be pitied, but as a child who deserved care, laughter, and friendship. From her very first day in the mansion, Clara noticed something nobody else seemed to see. Whenever she entered Lily's room carrying a tray, the little girl's head turned slightly, before Clara even made a sound. When Clara placed fresh flowers into a vase, she noticed Lily's eyes pause on the bright petals for just a moment, longer than chance alone could explain. Another time, when Clara dropped a shiny hairpin onto the carpet, Lily's gaze drifted down, as if following the sparkle. Clara kept these observations to herself. After all, who was she? Just a maid, earning barely enough to send money back home to support her younger siblings. How could she dare question the doctors or the belief of a man as powerful as Mr. Alden? Yet deep in her heart, a quiet truth whispered what her lips could not say. Lily could see. Maybe not perfectly, but enough. As the days passed, Clara began testing her suspicion in careful ways. She placed toys at different spots, watching how Lily's hand reached with certainty toward the one that glowed in the sunlight. She held up a flashlight while pretending to dust and noticed the tiny narrowing of Lily's pupils. Every sign made Clara more certain, but it also filled her with fear. If she was wrong, she could lose her job. If she was right, then something terrible had been hidden for years. The moment of truth arrived one golden afternoon. Sunlight poured through the mansion's tall windows, flooding the playroom with warmth. Lily sat quietly in her red dress, holding her stuffed bear. With her heart racing, Clara gently shone a small torch toward Lily, not to scare her, but to see if the spark was truly there. And then it happened. A flicker of light danced in Lily's eyes, a reflection proving she was not blind. Clara gasped softly, her hands trembling. She whispered silently to herself, "This child isn't blind. She's been trapped in a story that was never hers." Just then, the sound of footsteps echoed across the polished floor. Mr. Alden appeared, in the doorway, his sharp suit contrasting with the exhaustion in his eyes. He froze, watching Clara holding the torch. Lily turned her innocent face toward the light. Suspicion clouded his expression, but then his gaze locked on Lily's eyes, wide open, alive. and following the beam. In that instant, something inside him broke. The room grew heavy with silence. Clara feared she had destroyed everything. But then, it wasn't Clara who spoke. It was Lily. Lily's lips curved into a faint smile as she reached toward the beam of light. Her small voice trembled when she whispered, "It's so bright." Mr. Alden staggered back, his chest tightening as his heart raced. For years he had carried the heavy weight of believing his daughter lived in total darkness. He had worn that guilt like chains, never questioning the doctor's verdicts. And now, to hear her speak those words, to see her respond to light with his own eyes, it shook the very ground beneath him. Could it be true? Had they all been wrong? For the first time in his powerful life, the millionaire felt completely powerless. Clara stood firm, her voice calm though her heart pounded inside her chest. She carefully explained everything she had noticed. The way Lily's eyes lingered on flowers, how she reached for toys in sunlight, the tiny reaction of her pupils when light touched them. Clara admitted she had been afraid to speak, but she could no longer stay silent. She was certain Lily was not blind, only misunderstood. Mr. Alden struggled to take it all in. His mind replayed the endless doctor visits, the cold examinations, and the final verdicts he had never dared to question. How could a maid with no medical background see something they had all overlooked? But standing there with Lily's eyes following the light, he could not deny the truth. What happened next moved quickly. Mr. Alden called in new specialists, different voices, not the ones who had dismissed Lily years before. They ran new tests, used lights and patterns, and slowly the truth unfolded. Lily did have a rare condition. Her vision was limited, but it was not gone. With therapy, patience, and the right care, she could improve. Behind closed doors, Mr. Alden wept. For years he had believed his daughter was trapped in darkness. In that belief, he had kept his distance, thinking his presence would only hurt her more. Yet all along she had been waiting for his attention, his belief, his love. And it wasn't his fortune that gave her hope. It was the courage and compassion of a maid who chose not to ignore what she saw. As weeks turned into months, Lily's progress became clear. She began to notice colors. She recognized the blue of her teddy bear, the green of leaves in the garden, the golden glow of sunlight across the floor. Each discovery brought joy into the mansion. Mr. Alden changed too. He was no longer the distant man hiding behind business calls. Instead, he devoted himself to Lily. He read picture books with her, guided her hands as she painted colorful rainbows, and laughed when she spotted the shine of his cufflinks. But no matter how much he tried to give Lily the life she deserved, he never forgot Clara. Her bravery had rewritten his daughter's future. Filled with gratitude, he offered her wealth, promotions, and anything she could possibly want. Clara, humble as always, asked for only one thing, that Lily be given love and time, the two things money could never replace. She stayed on at the mansion, not because of her wages, but because of the bond she had formed with the little girl whose world was opening wider each day. The story of Lily spread quietly at first, whispered among neighbors, and then carried across the city. People spoke of it in markets and coffee shops, the tale of a billionaire's daughter, once believed blind, whose life was changed by the heart of a maid. It gave people hope, a reminder that truth often hides where no one expects and that kindness can achieve what wealth never could. For Mr. Alden, the change was life-altering. He no longer measured his success by contracts signed or skyscrapers bearing his name, but by the light in Lily's eyes when she ran to him after a day of therapy. Boardrooms no longer defined his life. Instead, he knelt on the playroom floor, stacking blocks with Lily and Clara, laughing as castles toppled and were built again. The mansion, once silent and cold, now echoed with laughter, music, and the simple joy of a child discovering the world she had been told she could never see. Clara never sought praise or recognition, but to Lily she became far more than a maid. She was the sister Lily never had, the guardian angel who noticed what others had missed. To Mr. Alden, Clara became proof that the greatest treasures are not found in banks or hidden in vaults, but in the courage to care. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even the smallest act of kindness can change a life, please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to Tale Trust. Your support allows us to continue sharing true-to-life stories that spread hope and compassion. Before we finish, I have one small request. Please leave a comment below. Share what this story meant to you, or tell us about a time when someone's kindness changed your life. Your words may inspire someone who needs encouragement today, and so, the mansion at the edge of the city was no longer just a symbol of wealth. It became a home filled with warmth and light, a place where a child learned to see, a father learned to love, and a maid proved that even in the grandest houses, kindness is the most valuable gift of all.